Now we talked about data, we talked about metadata, but how do we store the data? We have traditional file processing systems such as spreadsheets, and then we have databases. Now, which one is better and why? Let's see, let's compare traditional file processing systems and databases and see whether databases are better or traditional file processing systems are better. Now let's talk about traditional file processing systems right here. Let's look at this figure. Do we notice any problem in here? So we have orders department having their own system, accounting department having their own system, payroll having their own system, and those are applications that are going to interact with some kind of system that is going to pull from those, let's say, spreadsheets. Now, if we look closely to the places where we are pulling the data from, we notice some kind of redundancy here. And this is what we call unplanned redundancy, because if we look here, these systems are kind of their own separate systems, but then in order for them to access the customer master file, they have to have two copies. So this is what we call unplanned redundancy again. And this is bad because, first of all, it's waste of storage. And then we will have some inconsistent data formats. So, for example, if we're talking about, um, let's say there are salaries. One of them may have monthly, the other one may have annual salary. So this is, to us as human, this is fine because we know, okay, monthly salary is going to contribute to the annual salary. It's just 12 times the monthly salary to get the annual salary, but the computer doesn't understand that. So we need to make sure that these formats are the same. And we'll have different names maybe. Same thing, monthly and annual salary will both refer to this salary. And maybe some values having different references. So all of these are going to be some kind of problems with redundancy in traditional file processing system. Now let's look at it again and let's see. We talked about something in the previous slide. We said, okay, now these systems, although all of them are for one company, they are kind of their own systems. So we have a problem of limited data sharing because the parts of the application have their own private files. So although this is redundant, but it's private to this part of the system. And although customer master file here is another copy of the one in the other application, which is invoicing system, it's also specific to the order filing system. So this is going to be some kind of problem because other parts of the system will have no access. Now, this is going to be a problem when we try to generate a report. That's going to be very difficult because we must draw from other systems. So, for example, if one of those systems wants to generate a report, that will have to have some kind of um, data from other system, or if the company wants to generate a report that is going to summarize their expenses, then they will have to pass by all of those and will have to try to pull from each one of those systems. Now, this is going to be a big problem because sometimes we will have some incompatible files or some incompatible formats, and we will have some problems like the problem we talked about previously if the names of the data entries are different in those files. So we will also have the problem of a longer development time because the programmer will need to design a new data storage for each part of the application. Now, for example, this customer master file will have to be tailored to invoicing system, and it will have to be tailored to order filing system. So these may look different, although they theoretically contain the same information. So this is going to be inconsistent with the huge market demand these days on applications. And again, we will also have excessive maintenance costs due to previous limitations because we will have multiple of those storage systems. So what is the solution then? Now the solution is databases, which is an organized collection of logically related data. So this will be any size or any complexity, and it will resolve the limitations of the traditional file processing systems. Now, what is the basic idea of this organized collection of logically stored related data? Basic idea is tables containing information, which is rows and columns. And this is the basic idea. So it is going to be pretty similar to spreadsheets, but then again, it's going to resolve the problems that we have with traditional file processing systems.